But damn it, Shannon, Club, Shay, and anything else. I don't give a damn if he brings a bottle of Hennessy with him. I want him on First Take. All this politically correct stuff and being quiet. I want Shannon Sharpe on First Take. Okay? Period.
I don't normally post two breaking news stories in the same day, except when there are two huge breaking news stories in the same day. Tonight, what we have heard is Stephen A. Smith has openly declared that he wants Shannon Sharpe on First Take. And it seems as though Shannon Sharpe may take up his offer. Don't know why, but I think I have an idea. I think I have a real big idea. Number one, why Stephen A. wants Shannon Sharpe on First Take. And I also have an idea as to why it would make sense for Shannon Sharpe. Let's check out this article on the New York Post. The article is titled Shannon Sharpe, joining ESPN with Stephen A. Smith would be great. Let's see what he says here. Skip Bayless's exes seem to be teaming up, meaning Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharpe. Shannon Sharpe, who left his post with Bayless on FS1's Undisputed in June, could join ESPN's First Take as a contributor alongside former Bayless co-host Stephen A. Smith, according to Front Office Sports. The Hall of Fame tight end told USA Today it could be great if we were able to join forces with Smith, and teased an announcement about his future in the upcoming days. Joining ESPN would give Sharpe a bigger TV audience than he once had on FS1, 421,000 viewers to 154,000. And this is the important part. This is where I want to go with this. And it would allow him to continue his Club Shay podcast, which has 1.23 million subscribers on YouTube. Still, it would only be a part-time role, as Smith prefers a panel of rotating co-hosts to a permanent one. That's really interesting. I have an idea as to what's going on, but before I get to that, I want you to hear directly from Stephen A. Smith as he tries to pitch Shannon A. Sharpe and a bunch of other people as well. Take a listen.
What I can tell you is that the honchos are talking to Shannon Sharpe. What I can tell you is that the honchos are fully aware that Stephen A. Smith wants Shannon Sharpe on First Take. Now, don't get it twisted. I want Ryan Clark, too. From the pivot. I want him pivoting his behind right to First Take several times a week because I love my brother.
Notice he said 7 times a week. That's how often he wants Ryan Clark on the show. But let's continue.
Swagoo Marcus Spears, I want him on First Take. Dan Orlovsky, okay? AKA the White Urkel. I love you dearly, my brother. I want you on First Take too. Kimberly Martin, Mina Combs. I want you on First Take. Mad Dog Russo, yeah. I want you on that too, and I'll get into Michael Irvin in just a second.
So what he's obviously trying to do is build basically a podcast network of sorts to bring all these people together to try and get as many eyeballs on First Take as he possibly can. Notice when I read that article, it said that First Take had 421,000 viewers. Undisputed had 154,000 viewers. Those are small numbers in today's market. Those are very, very small numbers in today's market. Obviously, he has seen the light. He understands having a personal brand out there is what's going to be the parachute that saves you from ESPN layoffs. Steve Young, no personal brand. All the rest of them who got laid off, no personal brand. Susie Colbert, no personal brand. Hasselbeck, no personal brand. He understands right now survival and prosperity is based upon building a larger audience. And I'm going to show you some numbers to prove that, but let's continue listening to what he's got to say.
Let's think about it. I'm not apologizing to a damn show. I want Shannon Sharpe on First Take. And I aim to get him. We are definitely talking to Shannon Sharpe. The conversations are official. The reports have not been misnomers or misreports or anything like that. We are talking to him, and I'm hopeful, very hopeful, and very confident that ultimately we will be announcing sooner than later that he will be on First Take. Anything can happen now, because I don't make those decisions. I have bosses. executives like Dave Roberts and Burt Magnus and Jimmy Pitaro. They make the decisions. Stephen A. is not the boss.
And I would basically insert here Bob Iger. I played a video last week where Bob Iger, the chairman of Disney, the true head honcho, is looking to bring in an equity partner and possibly spin off a little bit of ESPN.
Okay, I answer to them. They make those decisions. They're the bosses. So contractual agreements and all of this other stuff have to come into play. But damn it, Shannon, Club, Shay, and anything else, I don't give a damn if he brings a bottle of Hennessy with him.
Understand what Club Shay is. That is Shannon Sharpe's podcast, which we're going to get into those numbers real soon here.
I want him on First Take. All this politically correct stuff and being quiet. I want Shannon Sharpe on First Take. Okay? Period. Because I'm proud of the work that he's done. I'm proud of his career as a football player. 3-time Super Bowl champion, Hall of Famer, knows his damn football. I'm good with him. And I'm not one of those insecure brothers that's scared.
You buying that? Are you buying that he's not one of those insecure brothers that's scared? I don't think he's scared. And I definitely don't think Stephen A. Smith is insecure, but I know he can read charts and I know he can read numbers. And I think he's seen the numbers I'm going to show you.
Of his greatness, thinking that it's going to sully mine. No, iron sharpens iron. We elevate one another.
Yeah, that's what he wants everybody to think, that these guys need to elevate him and they can elevate, that he can elevate them. But I don't think that is the truth of what's going on here.
Because when it comes to television, when it comes to being in front of a microphone or a camera, I'm not taking a back step to any damn body. Yeah, I sound a little loud today and all of this other stuff. What's going on? Stephen A's off vacation. That's what the hell's going on. I'm rested.
Okay, Stephen A said he doesn't take a back seat to anybody, but he does. He absolutely does. And I'm going to show you some numbers. Remember, he said that he gets 421,000 viewers per day, and that's the entire show. With all the resources of ESPN, he gets 421,000 viewers per day. That's tiny compared to what some of the huge people in sports on YouTube are getting. And Stephen A. Smith knows that full well. He gets paid $1 gazillion and his numbers aren't as good as some other people's. So let me show you some numbers. All right, so I've got special software because I'm in YouTube business, but these are the numbers that Club Shay does right now. As of today, Club Shay does 200,000 viewers per day on his YouTube podcast. Not bad at all. 200,000 viewers per day on his podcast. And as you see these numbers, over the last 14 days, it's up 1%. Over the last 28 days, it's up 2.3%. So his channel is growing. Next up, I want to show you, this is Stephen A. Smith's channel. He gets 238,000 views per day. He's been up really good. He's been pushing his channel, 5.7 in the last 7 days. 15.6 in the last 14 and 38% in the last 28 days. Now, next, look at Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee draws 729,000 views per day. That's monstrous. That is monstrous. That's owning your own brand. That's why ESPN brought him on. He didn't need ESPN. ESPN needed Pat McAfee. That's 100% true. I could show you more stuff, but I don't want to put people's numbers out there that you may not know. But there are much smaller YouTubers doing huge numbers. There's one guy doing 600,000 views per day. Rich Eisen, who you know is a brand, a former broadcaster, he does 521,000 views per day. Those guys don't need ESPN. ESPN needs people. So what Stephen A. Smith is doing, he's compiling a group of people. Mina Kimes, Dan Orlovsky, R.C. Clark, Shannon Sharpe, trying to drive the numbers up of his television show, which in turn will drive up the numbers for his personal brand, his personal show. Shannon Sharpe, being as smart and astute as he is, understands I can do the same thing. I don't need to be tied down to a desk 7 days a week, battling with Stephen A. Smith in some debate show. I can come out and do NFL Live. I can go do a game. I can go do First Take. I can do College Football Live. Wherever you guys need me, I can just go out there and do it. But I'm still free to do my own stuff, which means I can still promote Club Shay Shay. And I can see if I can drive that from 215,000 a day to 400,000 and 500,000 per day. That's where the money is. You own it. Many times we've heard during Stephen A's broadcast, hey, I own this. I own my podcast. Yeah, you don't own ESPN. And I guarantee you, ESPN says we need to get these numbers up. These YouTubers are kicking our ass. These YouTubers are taking sponsors away, and we can't combat with that. You're going to have to build these First Take numbers up. How do I do that? Let me bring Shannon Sharpe in. He's got a big following. Let me bring in Mina Kimes. Let me bring in Dan Orlovsky. Let me bring in Ryan Clark from The Pivot. He even mentioned Ryan Clark's show, The Pivot. Traditional broadcasting is toast. The only thing I can hope for, and what makes the difference, and I'm going to do a video on what Stugat said from the Dan Levitard show and how he said these guys are all bought and paid for, is that they don't lose their authenticity by going on First Take. If they lose their authenticity, they're toast. Because when we're talking like this on YouTube, we can say exactly what we mean, exactly how we feel. We don't have bosses. We don't have overlords telling us what our content is supposed to be. We can pick and choose what we want to talk about at any time. I'm walking past my desk. I see story. Boom, I turn on the camera, flip the lights on, do the background, and I'm on. I don't need to be in a studio. I don't need to have people. I don't have to have the resources of 20, 25 people in the room. I don't need script writers. I don't need editors. That's the difference. And the profitability from having your own podcast is beginning to rival having a show on television. Are people like me making $12 million a year like Stephen A? No. Are we making $30 million a year like Pat McAfee? No. But we don't need to. There's nobody else here. I don't have a huge staff. It's me. If you can do 200,000-300,000 views per day, I'm not going to tell you, but let me tell you this. You're making huge money for a single entrepreneur, a solopreneur, as they would call it. That rivals what some of these guys are making on network. You heard Marcellus Wiley talk in one of my videos where he said, hey man, I'm making almost as much money doing my podcast as I was on ESPN. And he just started his podcast a few months ago. That's why I do what I do. That's why I've broadened my content, because I can see what these numbers mean. And I understand by looking at these numbers of FS1 and ESPN's First Take, 421. Nah, that's just someplace where we all need to get to. FS1 has 154 for Undisputed. That's peanuts. That's nothing. You can have one or two videos and that take off and you just blow through that. A friend of mine started a channel. He has 17 videos. He has 17 videos, and his third video out the gate did 800,000 views. Think about that. This guy made $5,000 on one video. One single video. Times they are changing. Stephen A., I wish you complete luck. I understand what you're doing. I understand the need for what you're doing. You're bringing these people in. You're putting together a good network, a good solid content base. But I'm pretty sure Pat McAfee, Shay Shay, they already know where they're headed. They already know they're going to use ESPN to promote their personal brand. Luckily, you jumped on this and got involved real quick. Once you saw these numbers, you understood, hey man, I need to do something. I need to get on YouTube and start talking and build my own audience. Not First Take at all. You're almost doing right now on your own per day than First Take was. Think about that. He said First Take does 421 viewers per day. He's up to 239 viewers per day on his own thing. You understand where this is going now? That's what this is all about. Let me know what you guys think about Shannon Sharpe heading over to ESPN and being on First Take in some capacity with Stephen A. Smith. Talk to you soon.